Gary Coleman's legacy in television history is unparalleled, characterized by a diminutive actor who stole America's heart, with his portrayal of Arnold Jackson in the beloved series Diff'rent Strokes. With his iconic catchphrase, "What you talkin' bout, Willis?" Coleman transcended the screen, becoming a symbol of child stardom during the late 1970s and early 1980s. As the highest-paid child actor of his time, Coleman's rise to fame was meteoric, but beneath the surface of his on-screen charm lay a tumultuous narrative fraught with personal, no children and financial turmoil. Coleman's later years were marred by a series of challenges, including profound financial difficulties that eventually led him to take on roles as a mall security guard. So, if you're a Gary Coleman fan or simply curious about this legend, hit the like button and let's dive in. Gary Coleman's early life before fame. He was born on February 8, 1968, in Zion, Illinois, where he was welcomed into the arms of his adoptive parents, a nurse practitioner and a pharmaceutical representative. However, from the very beginning, Coleman faced significant health challenges that would shape the course of his life. At birth, he was diagnosed with a congenital kidney defect, a condition that would persist throughout his lifetime. Remarkably, by the tender age of 2, Coleman underwent his first kidney transplant, marking the beginning of a lifelong battle with his health. Tragically, this was not to be his only encounter with such a procedure. At the age of 17, he found himself in need of yet another kidney transplant. As a consequence of his ongoing health struggles and the rigors of dialysis treatment, Coleman's growth was stunted, leaving him permanently at a height of 4 feet, 8 inches. Despite these formidable obstacles, Coleman's resilience and determination would come to define his journey, both on and off the screen. His career and rise in fame. In 1978, at the tender age of 10, Gary Coleman's life took a dramatic turn when he landed the role of Arnold Jackson on the popular sitcom Diff'rent Strokes. The series depicted the lives of Coleman and his co-star Todd Bridges, portraying 2 black orphans navigating life under the care of a wealthy white man. It was during his time on the show that Coleman's iconic catchphrase, "What you talkin' bout, Willis?" became etched into television history. Renowned for his impeccable comedic timing and scene-stealing abilities, Coleman quickly became a fan favorite. Diff'rent Strokes soared to success, propelling Coleman into the limelight and earning him an astonishing $100,000 per episode, an unprecedented feat for a child actor at the time. The show's popularity opened doors to additional opportunities for Coleman, including roles in films such as On the Right Track in 1981 and The Kid with the Broken Halo in 1982. As his career continued to flourish, Coleman demonstrated his entrepreneurial spirit by establishing Gary Coleman Productions at the remarkably young age of 10. With his adoptive parents assuming the roles of his full-time managers, the formation of his production company not only provided Coleman with greater control over his career but also ensured a steady income stream for his family. Following the cancellation of Diff'rent Strokes in 1986, Gary Coleman faced a significant slowdown in his career trajectory. With the end of the show came the sobering realization that he needed to tap into his trust fund, a fund that many presumed would be substantial, given his hefty salary during his tenure on the series. However, as Coleman approached his 18th birthday and ventured to access his funds, he encountered an unexpected and unwelcome revelation: financial feuds and legal issues with adoptive parents. While overseeing Gary Coleman's career, his parents were also involved in handling his finances, and it became apparent that they were taking more than their fair share. When Coleman delved into his trust fund, anticipated to be worth approximately $18 million, he was shocked to discover that only about $220,000 remained. This alarming revelation prompted Coleman to take legal action. At the age of 25, he filed a lawsuit against both his parents and his agent for misappropriation of funds. After a legal battle, Coleman emerged victorious, but the resolution only yielded him around $1.3 million. Despite winning the case, the financial mismanagement and subsequent legal ordeal exacerbated Coleman's already precarious financial situation. This episode marked the beginning of a downward spiral for the former child star, ultimately culminating in bankruptcy. In 2003, Coleman stood for governor in the California recall election, where he was placed 8th out of 135 candidates, with 14,242 votes. A brief and controversial marriage. Gary Coleman was once married to Shannon Price, who was 38 years old at the time. Their relationship began when Coleman, then 40 years old, met Price, who was 22, on the set of the film Church Ball in 2007. Despite the age gap, the two formed a connection and decided to tie the knot a few months later. However, their marriage was short-lived, and their struggles became public when they appeared on divorce court in May 2008 in an attempt to salvage their relationship. Unfortunately, their efforts were in vain, and they ultimately divorced a few months later. Following their separation, Coleman took legal action to prevent Price from residing in his home while he was undergoing medical treatment in the hospital. Despite this, Price later claimed that she and Coleman had entered into a common-law marriage and asserted her right to stay at his residence until Coleman's passing. How he died. Gary Coleman relocated to Utah in 2005, and during the initial 5 years of his residence there, law enforcement responded to over 20 incidents involving him. However, 2010 would prove to be an especially challenging year for Coleman. Earlier in the year, he experienced 2 seizures while recovering from heart surgery, which had been preceded by pneumonia. One of these seizures occurred on the set of the interview show The Insider. Tragically, on May 26, 2010, Coleman suffered a severe fall down the stairs inside his Utah home, resulting in a head injury and loss of consciousness. His condition deteriorated rapidly, and he slipped into a coma later that day. Despite medical efforts, he did not recover, and life support was ultimately removed on May 28, marking the end of his life at age 42. The fight for Coleman's estate. Following Gary Coleman's passing, a contentious legal battle erupted over his estate involving his ex-wife Shannon Price and Anna Gray. Gray, who had previously managed Coleman's business affairs and his company, was named as a beneficiary in Coleman's will 2 years before his marriage to Shannon. However, Coleman authored another will after marrying Price, designating her as the beneficiary. After their divorce and the discovery of 2 conflicting wills, a dispute arose over the rightful beneficiary, leading to a prolonged legal battle lasting 2 years. Investigations revealed that the second will was handwritten, and the court acknowledged the legal separation between Coleman and Price. Additionally, evidence surfaced regarding Price's abusive behavior towards Coleman, prompting him to obtain a protective order against her in 2010. These factors worked against Price's claim to the estate, leading to her disqualification. The judge ultimately ruled in favor of the 2005 will, recognizing Anna Gray as the rightful beneficiary of Coleman's estate. The lack of a funeral for Coleman. Plans for Gary Coleman's funeral were disrupted and ultimately abandoned due to disagreements among his adoptive parents, Anna Gray, and Shannon Price, regarding his estate and the handling of his body. Interestingly, the 2005 document explicitly stated that there should be no memorial or funeral service for him, adding another layer of complexity to the situation. As a result, the exact disposition of Coleman's ashes remains unknown, adding to the mystery and intrigue surrounding his legacy and final wishes. The unresolved disputes surrounding his estate and final arrangements serve as a poignant reminder of the complexities that can arise in the aftermath of a celebrity's passing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as there are many more captivating stories waiting to be told.